For those planning to bring their family to the UK, as there is a new update. The UK's Home Secretary, Yvette Cooper, made an announcement yesterday that could affect your plans to bring your dependents to the UK. Good morning. Thank you for joining us from wherever you're joining us from. I am your one and only Francis. I am here to share the latest update on the UK immigration, which was announced less than 7 hours ago. On this channel, we share updates about migration, different pathway to migrate, and we also talk about the things that affect immigrants in the diaspora. As you are already aware, there is a law in the UK that in order for you to bring your dependent to the UK, you will need to earn £29,000. However, that law was supposed to increase. The government said it was planning to increase the amount that you have to earn to 30-something thousand pounds from the few months' time. However, the new Home Secretary have said that she has paused that plan, which means that for now, you do not need to earn above £29,000 to be able to bring your spouse to the UK. Don't forget that before the new change came to effect, in the past, you only need to earn £18,600 a year for you to be able to bring your spouse to the UK. For those carers who cannot bring their family to the UK, we may have some updates for you. It looks like there might be some changes on that policy. I want to know how you have been affected. Are you someone who's planning to bring your spouse to the UK? Are you a carer who is living in the UK and you cannot bring your family to come and join you in the UK due to recent changes in government policy? Leave your comment in the comment section. Let me know how this has affected you and your family. The separation, knowing full well that you cannot bring your family to the UK. Yvette Cooper said, and I quote, "The family immigration rules, including the minimum income requirement, needs to balance a respect for family life whilst also ensuring the economic well-being of the UK is maintained," the Home Secretary said in a written statement. So the Home Secretary has said that she said to ensure we reach the right balance and have a solid evidence base for any change, I will commission the Migration Advisory Council to review the financial requirement in the family immigration rule. For those watching us from outside the UK, the Migration Advisory Council is the body that advises the government on immigration policy. The government can take their recommendation or ignore it. However, as we have seen in recent years, Migration Advisory Council has become very, very influential to the point that most of their recommendations have been accepted by the last government. So what is going to happen now is that Yvette Cooper says the minimum income requirement is currently set. So what she is saying is that the Migration Advisory Council will advise the government on the impact of separating family members from their dependent in the UK and come up with a recommendation at the end of their investigation. Once they recommend that this policy of separating family from their dependent in the UK is having an adverse impact on the government policy or the labor market, the government may make some changes about this policy. So for those of you who are in the UK as carers, but because of recent changes, you cannot bring your dependent to come and join you. There is a little glimmer of hope, because as you have just heard, the Home Secretary has commissioned an investigation into this policy, and they will recommend to the government. By the time they finish their investigation, it is likely that they may recommend that the government policy to stop carers from bringing their families to the UK is not the right policy. And it's also likely that for British citizens who have to earn 29,000 a year to be able to bring their family, that policy the government may either change the policy, keep it the way it is now, or make significant changes. So there is hope. As we know, the Labour government, they are still trying to settle down into office, but from the signs that they are giving, we are seeing signs that there may be some changes in immigration policy. And one thing that they are currently looking at also is that the UK wants to boost its skill sector. The government recently set up a commission, a body which is called Skill England. That body will be responsible for training the UK workforce to make sure that the UK does not have to rely on foreign workers. The government is also planning to make sure that there is no incentive for UK-based companies to be able to go abroad to recruit instead of training home workers. And one thing that the government also mentioned yesterday is the fact that currently the UK is relying heavily on foreign workers when it comes to IT and engineering. However, there is not going to be quick fix in that regard, because if you are an IT or an engineer who is planning to come to the UK, I can guarantee you that there is nothing the government can do in the medium term to stop that, because employers need people to come and work in the UK in those two fields. As I always say on this platform, one of the things that which the government needs to be transparent with the people. The different governments haven't been transparent with the British public on this issue. There are currently more 65 years old in the UK than 16 years old. That's a fact. Therefore, it means that more people are going to be out of work because of age than those that are in work. How are you going to fund the state? How are you going to fund services? How are you going to be able to collect taxes if people are not working because of old age? So if you are planning to come to the UK, as I'm always saying on this platform, do not give up. As long as you want to come to the UK legally, there will always be pathways for people to legally migrate to the UK. Because when the dust are settled, the government will realize that, as I said, there are more people who cannot work than young people who can contribute and pay taxes. So no government will ever let the system crumble. They will always find a way to dress it, but legal migration will always come. As Yvette Cooper said yesterday, between March last year to March this year, 605,264 people moved legally to the UK. My personal opinion about this one, I think this is too high. It's not sustainable because there is no enough public services that can match this. So I think with the current rate of migration, 605,000, this is not sustainable. I think it will come down to around maybe 200,000 to 250,000 in the next few years, but there will always be pathways for people to legally migrate to the UK. So the update, if you know anyone who is living in the UK as a carer, or anyone who is planning to come to the UK to bring their spouse, Please kindly share this video with them and tell them that there is new updates that have just been announced yesterday by the new Home Secretary Yvette Cooper, that the government has paused the plan to increase the threshold that people have to earn to be able to bring their spouse to the UK to 37,000 a year, because the government have realized that very few people earn 37,000 in the UK. So realistically, I think the government should be looking at bringing this down rather than increasing it, because the reality is that the government is trying to balance the right to family life, which is Article 8 of the Human Rights Act, which says that children and their family cannot be separated. At the same time, try to address concerns about how people feel about the level of migration, which has in the last few years under the past government has skyrocketed. So this is what we are seeing today. So as soon as the Migration Advisory Council completes their investigation, because the government has given them the responsibility to investigate the impact of separating people from bringing their families to the UK. As soon as that investigation is completed, the Launch Club is the first place that will break the news for you, where you will be able to get the latest update. So if you want to stay informed about migration or any other issues that affect immigrants in the diaspora, make sure you consider subscribing to this channel and give this video a like if you're seeing any value in what we're trying to do, so that more people from our community can see this very update. What we're hearing today is that the plans to increase the amount of money that you have to earn before you bring your spouse to the UK. That plan has been paused yesterday. It means that currently you only need to earn £29,000 a year if you are a British citizen for you to be able to bring your spouse to the UK. If you are European, say who is settled in the UK, I think that the amount of money that you may have to earn, there might be some changes with that regard. Okay, so that is what we are hearing today. So if you know anyone, carers who is living in the UK, if you're a carer living in the UK and you're frustrated that you cannot bring your family and to come and join you in the UK, don't give up, because it looks like there will be some changes coming in that regard in the next few weeks or months. The government is looking at reviewing that policy. Are you affected? Leave your comment in the comment section. I want to know how you have been affected by the new government changes. Is this something that is affecting you, that you cannot bring your family? How are you coping? If you are a man or woman who is working in the UK as a carer, but you have been told that you cannot bring your family to the UK, given the recent changes, put your comment in the comment section. How is this affecting you? What is your plan? Are you hopeful are you waiting that once the government makes any changes to this policy, you will be able to bring family? As a father myself, I cannot imagine going to work, coming back, not seeing my children. I think that is something that would affect me significantly. So I want to know how you are coping and how you're feeling with not being able to bring your family to the UK. But what the government is saying is that this is going to be investigated, and at the end of the investigation, my gut feeling is that the Labour Party, being a party over historically, they tend to be a party that have they tend to be pro-migration. I think that they may relax the rule slightly. From what Yvette Cooper is saying yesterday, it is highly unlikely that they will go ahead with the previous government policy. I think that their focus is that they have to strike the right balance between trying to address the public concerns about migration, but at the same time, they want to make sure that families are not separated, because at the end of the day, that would affect UK's immigration policy. So if you're planning to come to the UK, leave your comment in the comment section. The UK is in short of engineers. The UK needs IT. Forget all the noise. As I always say, there are more 16 years old in the UK than 65. Those that are saying that the government They don't want immigrants to come and work in the country. The reality is that there are more people taken out of the system than people contributing. There's no way that is sustainable. The system will crash if that continues. Whether you like it or not, you are going to have to accept some level of migration. The politicians might not tell you this, but I'm telling you the fact that the reality is that there are more people taken out of the system than people putting in. No system can survive on that. So that is the reality that we find ourselves today in the UK. So leave your comment in the comment section. I want to know what your views are. Are you affected by this policy? Let me know how this has affected you. Are you planning to come to the UK as an engineer or IT? The door is not closed. As we speak today, there are a lot of job vacancies in IT and engineer for people that want to come to the UK. So if you have seen any value in today's update, please kindly give it a like. Leave your comment in the comment section. Subscribe to this channel. As soon as the Migration Advisory Committee finishes their work, we will be the first that will inform you, because we want our people to stay informed, because information is power. Information will change your life. That is the difference between success and poverty. I want to know, don't forget to leave your comment in the comment section, how this policy have affected you and how your plans to come to the UK, how it has been affected by the new changes. I thank you very much for joining us this morning. I will give you an update as